what's going on? It's Juan Gotti here with another Washington Commanders video, and in today's video, I'm coming on here to talk about the defense and Jack Del Rio, and we're going to talk a little bit about Scott Turner and just continue to recap yesterday's game. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. But before we do, make sure you go down below, leave a like on this video, subscribe if you're new, and turn on post notifications so you get notified when I upload a video about the NFL, or in this case, our Washington Commanders. We're on the road to 5,000 subscribers, so that subscribe button again if you haven't already. Thank you so much. Let's get straight into today's video. So let me first start by saying this. Okay. I already made a whole video on this, but I want to say it again. Give Jack Del Rio his flowers. Okay? Give Jack Del Rio his flowers. I'm a person that's highly critical of this coaching staff. When you're doing good, I'm going to praise you. And then when you're doing bad, I'm obviously going to get on you. But that's because I know you can be better. Okay? And Jack Del Rio was getting a lot of slack at the beginning of the year. Rightfully so. Okay? But he has turned this defense around since probably, I would say, the second half of week 3 from the Eagles game on now until current day, week 3 to week 8. He has been playing. He's been having this defense playing amazing, and it's not to mention this is without Chase Young. Okay, a person that we're probably gonna get back next week, or at least we're hoping to get back next week versus Minnesota. This is a guy that has been playing without, even though he didn't play like it when he was playing. This is a guy that's playing without his number one cornerback, the person that's making the most money on that defense. You know what I'm saying? So this dude deserves his flowers. And I'm be honest with you, man. I wish there was a way we could alternate head coaches every week. Like, I wish one week Ron Rivera would probably be the head coach, and the next week Jack Del Rio could take over the reins and be the head coach. Because I guarantee you, man, Jack Del Rio is probably a better head coach than Ron Rivera. Like, he's probably a better head coach than Ron Rivera. I think he personally is, but the only reason why I'm saying probably because he only had a couple years. Obviously Ron Rivera's head coaching tenure is longer than him. He had a stout in Jacksonville, that being Jack Del Rio. I don't know how long that was. And then he had a short tenure in Oakland where I still don't know why he got fired. I really don't. But I would like to see Jack Del Rio as the head coach, man. I'm not going to lie to you. And I know it's not going to happen, but I would love to see him as the head coach. I would want to see how things would be a little bit differently ran. I would want to see how the clock management would be much better, if it will be, which I think it can. It will be. I don't think it can be any worse than how Ron Rivera manages the clock. And you want to know one thing, and I'm going to get back on topic here. You want to know one thing that bugs me about the media? They don't ask those kind of questions to Ron Rivera. You know what I'm saying? All they ask is, okay, Ron, after you've seen the film, what is your takeaways and what are some things you like? I want you to ask him questions that requires him to actually have to answer for his performance. Hey, Ron, why did you allow so much time to go off the clock when you had 3 timeouts in your pocket and about 1 minute and 30 seconds left to go in the half? Why in the fourth quarter, why did you let so much time go off the clock even though you had 2 timeouts in your back pocket? Why did you do this? Why did you do that? I want to know those questions. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to keep asking Ron Rivera the same question. Ask him about how he feel like he performed well, and then go off of that. But back to Jack Del Rio, he deserves his flowers. Okay, this whole defense has been playing well. Okay, yesterday we didn't get a lot of sacks, but we definitely got a little bit of pressure. You know what I'm saying? More so than that, we stopped Jonathan Taylor for a majority of the day. Yes, he had a couple runs, but what good running back is, and he's one of the better ones in the league, they're going to obviously have a few runs where they break off one. But for the most part, we kept Jonathan Taylor in check. Whether it was Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen, James Smith-Williams, Montez Sweat, Jamin Davis coming down. How about Jamin Davis? This is a guy that a lot of people was ready to give up on. He is starting to turn the corner. Okay, I don't know if he'll ever live up to that 19th overall pick, but he is starting to turn the corner and being a serviceable starting linebacker in this league. I mean, he looks like he says he's playing with confidence. He's playing more free. He looks like he's not thinking when he plays. It looks like he's just going out there playing free and letting the game happen. And that's what we've been trying to get him to do all along. And that's going to come along with more reps and more time to play. Jamin Davis is starting to turn the corner. I mean, he gave up a big play on the King Hans, which you got to be better with, Jamin. I'm not going to lie to you. We drafted you to be a person that can check, running backs out the backfield, tight ends across the middle of the field. You got to be better with that. You can't allow him to burn you like that. But after that, he came up and made one of the biggest plays in the game, because if Jonathan Taylor scores a touchdown right there, okay, they probably win. They're going to win. They're going to win. But Cameron Curl made a beautiful play, stopping Pittman on the one. Jamin Davis made more plays than the one I just spoke on. How about Bobby McCain? This is a guy that I personally, don't mind having him as a backup, but I don't see him as a starting safety for all 17 games. But how about Bobby McCain stepping up? He had himself it's probably his best game I've seen him play as a Washington Commander, in my opinion. This defense, man, it's just crazy to think, what will it look like when we finally get Chase Young back? Like, I know whenever we get Chase Young back, if it's this week or sometime down the line, I know it's going to take him a few weeks to get ramped up, but just having his presence back out there is going to be amazing. I cannot wait to get Chase Young back with this defense. Jack Del Rio has been playing well. He's been mixing up, and you guys know, I hate when he run the soft zone, but he's been doing a good job of mixing that up with some pressures. I love what I've been seeing. Benjamin St-Juste, he had himself a day yesterday where he gave up a big pass, but for majority of it, he was clamping stuff too. How good is he? His potential is through the roof. I'm super excited for Benjamin St-Juste. And who's to say Washington probably makes the playoffs or gets a mid-first round pick and then get you another corner to pair up with Benjamin St-Juste. And then you got two young corners that are going to be developing. I'm all for it at this point, And yesterday that was without Cole Holcomb. That was my biggest worry. What is this defense going to look like without Cole Holcomb? They look just fine. I mean, David Mayo even made a play, ladies and gentlemen. And I know y'all want to crap on David Mayo for dropping a pick. If that's Cole Holcomb, he's probably picking that off, obviously. But it's David Mayo, man. Cutting a bit of it out. Okay, you got to catch the ball. I'm not going to lie. You got to catch the ball, David Mayo, but at least you were there. At least you were there. I'm just glad you were there, because in the other past times, you were all over the field, nowhere near the play, getting shooken out your boots, missing a tackle. I'm just glad you were there to make a play on the ball. Okay, you got to catch it. Next step is catching the ball. Okay, but at least you were there to break up the pass. I don't think y'all understand. With how poor Scott Turner's offensive play calling was, the defense did their thing, man. They did their thing. I mean, they forced 2 turnovers inside the red zone. It's one thing to force a turnover midfield or in their own territory, which would be good because you got the ball at the goal line. But then it's one thing to turn it all to force a turnover when they're about to get points, when they basically got 3 points guaranteed in their back pocket. It's another thing. We came up with the biggest fumbles at the biggest times. Derek Forrest, shout out to you for knocking that ball loose out of Jonathan Taylor's hands. He was showing you the cookies. You reached your hand in the jar and got it. Sam Ellinger making a young guy fumble. That's a mistake he has to learn from, and he'll probably be better from in the future. But we got to take advantage of it. That's what it is. That's what you got to do when you have a rookie first starting quarterback for this first time in the NFL. You got to do stuff like that. And we did. This defense was gassed. This defense was on the field majority of the day, okay, and they didn't break. They bended at times, but they didn't break, and they held this team, Colts, to 17 points. That could have easily probably had way more points than that with the position that they had, and how often that their defense were getting were getting stops for us, and basically we're just Scott Turner being bad at play calling, causing us to punt the ball, and our defense being on the front. Our defense didn't break at all. Everybody was good today or yesterday, and you gotta help but not just give the credit to all the players, because yes, the credit goes to the players obviously, but you gotta look to the man that's to my left. Jack Del Rio has done a hell of a job, getting back to his 2020 self, and again, this is without their number 2 overall pick. Their number 2 overall pick. Okay, so just imagine when we get Chase Young back, and if we don't trade William Jackson, I'll be interested to see what they do. They probably aren't going to play him, They may go to the imagine they go to the Josh Norman route. Y'all remember last year, Josh Norman was on special teams. Will they go that route with William Jackson? I don't know, because I don't know if you play him, because if you don't find a trade partner for William Jackson, you can't mess up what's been going on. And I know Rashad Wildgoose had a bad penalty yesterday, but he's been playing better. He's developing. You don't mess that up. You keep those 3 guys out there. Okay? So if you can't find William Jackson a new home, he may be on special teams, or he just maybe what's the word? An active, a healthy scratch every week. Because I think he can play. I don't think that back injury is that serious, but that's neither here nor there. Never one to just judge a man's injury, but that's just what I think. Then the last thing I want to talk about, which I already talked for 10 minutes on how good that defense is, so I really don't need to talk more on this, but Scott Turner's horrible. He sucks. I don't want him here anymore. He needs to go, because you have way too much talent on this team to be mustering 17 points. You had way too many opportunities to get way more points than what you did, but you only found a way to get 17 points. Taylor Heineke was solid yesterday. He had himself a good day. Like, ladies and gentlemen, the pick was horrible, okay, but he was getting hit as he was throwing. But you can't have that. It was three Colts in the area, obviously, but you can't have that, right? I'm not gonna make an excuse for him. You can't force that throw. But at the same time, he was trying to get it out of his hands because he didn't want to get sacked, right? But I guess at that point in time, you would prefer a sack than a pick, right? But defense got to stop, okay? 1 and 2. Scott Turner, you have to call better plays, man. Like, you have too much talent on this offense to not be doing better. But I'm already done and through with that portion. I'm washing my hands clean with Scott Turner. He cannot win me back. I don't care. I'm done with him. I want a new offensive coordinator next year. Now, will I get that wish? Probably not. But I want a new offensive coordinator next year, and I hope Ron can see it with his own eyes that, like a Sam Mills III, Scott Turner's not getting it done, and he needs to go. You know what I'm saying? Another coach's son, okay, coach legend's son, or player for that matter, with Sam Mills' dad. Well, he was a coach too, but Sam Mills' dad. Another legend in the NFL's son failing at his job, and I hope Ron Rivera can see that, because he is holding his offense back from scoring 30 points a game. And I'll be honest with you. That's my honest take on it. Taylor Heineke played a good game outside of that pick, and we should have had at least 28 points. But that is what it is. 17 points was enough, and I don't think it's going to be enough next week. But we'll get to the Vikings Wednesday, as I will go live talking about recapping this game a little bit more, and then we'll take a look at the first notes and first looks of the Minnesota Vikings. So, yeah, man, there you guys have it. I just want to come on here to praise some more Jack Del Rio. Give this man his flowers, because he deserves it. This defense has been playing well, and just imagine what it'll look like when Chase Young comes back. As always, me and boy Juan Gotti. Like, comment, subscribe. Hell to the Washington Commanders. We're on the road to 5,000 subscribers. Hit that subscribe button again if you haven't already. Thank you so much. I'm out. Peace. Cross me one time, that's gonna get you popped. Get you popped.